My mother-in-law tried to take custody of my daughter after I caught her poisoning her against me. The recording started at 3:17 p.m. on a Wednesday. I know because the timestamp is burned into my brain like a scar. My daughter's voice, small and uncertain, asking her grandmother why daddy doesn't love her anymore. And Patricia's response, smooth as silk and twice as deadly. I sat in my car outside the gymnastics studio, phone pressed against my ear, and felt my entire world tilt sideways. The recording app I'd secretly installed on Sophie's backpack zipper, the one that looked like a cute cartoon bear, had just captured something I couldn't unhear. My hands were shaking so badly, I had to grip the steering wheel to steady them. This wasn't the first strange thing I'd noticed, not even close, but it was the first time I had proof that the distance growing between me and my 8-year-old daughter wasn't natural. It was cultivated. I'd been a single father for 18 months when everything started unraveling. The divorce from Vanessa had been brutal but necessary. She'd had an affair with her personal trainer, and when I found out, she'd moved in with him within a week. Sophie split her time between us, 1 week with me, 1 week with her mother, except Vanessa worked nights as an ER nurse, which meant on her weeks, Sophie stayed primarily at her grandmother's house, Patricia's house, the woman who'd never thought I was good enough for her daughter, who'd opposed our marriage from day one, who'd told Vanessa at our rehearsal dinner that she'd be supporting her when this inevitably falls apart. I should have seen it coming. The signs were there, scattered like breadcrumbs. I was too tired and heartbroken to follow. Sophie started flinching when I reached to hug her. Small things at first, a barely perceptible stiffening, a half-second delay before she'd return the embrace. Then she stopped initiating hugs altogether. When I'd pick her up for my week, she'd greet me with a polite smile that belonged on a stranger's face, not my daughter's. The change had been gradual enough that I'd convinced myself it was normal. Kids processing divorce, kids needing space, kids being 8 years old and developing independence. I'd read every co-parenting article, every child psychology blog, every forum post about helping children through separation. I'd done everything right according to the experts, maintained routine, never spoke badly about Vanessa, kept my home stable and loving, showed up to every school event and soccer game. And still, Sophie was slipping away from me like water through cupped hands. My best friend Kevin had noticed it first. We'd been at Sophie's school carnival about 3 months ago, and I'd won her a stuffed giraffe at the ring toss. She'd thanked me with that same polite, distant smile and immediately set it down on a bench. That's weird, Kevin had said quietly. Remember when she used to lose her mind over stuffed animals? I remembered. I remembered everything about who Sophie used to be before the divorce, before the separation, before whatever was happening now. That's when I started paying closer attention. Really paying attention. Not just going through the motions of visitation and homework and bedtime routines. I noticed she wouldn't meet my eyes during dinner conversations. Noticed she developed a habit of asking if she could call her grandmother, quote, for, even when she was at my house. Noticed the way she'd stiffen when I'd suggest we do something together. Just the two of us, like we used to. One Friday evening, I'd proposed we have a movie night with her favorite snacks. Something we'd done every week before the divorce. Sophie had looked almost panicked. She'd never called me dad before. Always daddy. The shift felt deliberate, like she was putting distance between us one syllable at a time. I'd stood in the kitchen, holding a bag of the gummy bears she'd always loved, and felt something cold settle in my stomach. This wasn't normal adjustment. This was alienation. I started documenting everything. Dates, times, conversations, behaviors. I bought a journal and filled it with observations that would have broken my heart if I'd let myself feel them fully while writing. September 15th, Sophie asked if she could skip our weekend camping trip. Said Grandma Patricia told her the woods were dangerous and I might not know how to keep her safe. September 22nd, Sophie refused to eat the pancakes I made. Said they weren't as good as Grandma's and hers might make her sick. October 3rd, found Sophie crying in her room. When I asked what was wrong, she said, I miss Mommy and Grandma, even though she'd just spent the entire week with them. The pattern was becoming impossible to ignore. Every statement, every rejection, every moment of distance seemed to trace back to Patricia. I started noticing phrases that didn't sound like they came from an 8-year-old. Quote, Sophie had said one evening, the words formal and rehearsed. When I'd asked her why, she'd looked confused, like she'd repeated something without understanding it. That's when I made the decision. To see the full story, click the link below or go on my channel.